Have you ever felt your heart literally break in your chest while watching the woman you loved kiss another man? That moment when you realize you've been living in a fantasy for months, maybe even years, and she never saw you as anything more than a convenient friend? I'm about to share the most humiliating story of my life. A story that nearly destroyed me. But more importantly, it's the story that finally opened my eyes to the truth about why I kept failing with women. My name is Matt, and this is my confession. It was a Tuesday afternoon when my entire world collapsed. I was standing in the break room at work, holding 2 cups of coffee, one for me, one for Helen, just like I had done every single day for the past 8 months. But this time was different. Through the glass window, I watched Helen laughing with Derek from the marketing department. His hand was on her lower back. She was looking up at him the way I had dreamed she would look at me. And then it happened. He leaned down and kissed her, right there in the hallway where everyone could see. Where I could see. The coffee cups slipped from my hands. Hot liquid splashed everywhere. But I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. 8 months. 8 months of daily coffee runs, late-night phone calls, weekend friend dates, helping her move apartments, fixing her car, listening to her cry about her ex-boyfriends. And she chose him, a guy she'd known for 2 weeks. Let me back up and tell you how this nightmare began. Helen started working at our company last year. She was assigned to the desk right across from mine in the accounting department. The first time I saw her walk in, I swear time stopped. She had this confidence about her, this energy that just drew everyone in. When she smiled at me and said, "Hi, I'm Helen. Looks like we'll be working together," I was completely gone. I told myself I'd play it cool. I'd been burned before by being too eager, too available. But Helen was different. She actually seemed interested in getting to know me. We started having lunch together. She'd ask about my weekend plans, remember little details about my life, even compliment my shirts. When she laughed at my jokes, even the bad ones, I was convinced this was finally it. But here's where I made my first massive mistake. Instead of asking her out like a normal person, I decided to be her friend first. I thought if I could prove what a great guy I was, if I could show her how much I cared, she'd naturally fall for me. So I became her personal assistant, her emotional support system, her unpaid therapist. When her car broke down, I drove her to work every day for 2 weeks. When she was stressed about a project, I stayed late to help her finish it. When she needed someone to talk to at 2 a.m. because she was anxious about her presentation, I was there. I convinced myself this was romance. This was how real relationships started. But the signs were there. I just refused to see them. She never dressed up when we hung out. She'd show up in sweatpants and a messy bun. She talked about other guys she found attractive. She even asked for my advice about dating apps. And when I finally worked up the courage to suggest we go to that new restaurant downtown as more than friends, she laughed and said, "Oh, Matt, you're so sweet. But I love that we're friends. I don't want to ruin what we have." The friend zone. I was officially in the friend zone. But I didn't give up. I couldn't give up. I doubled down on being the perfect friend. I thought if I just tried harder, if I was even nicer, even more available, she'd see what she was missing. That's when Derek showed up. Derek was everything I wasn't. He was loud, confident, sometimes even a little rude. He'd tease Helen in meetings. He'd challenge her opinions. He'd flirt with her openly, right in front of everyone. And she loved it. I watched her light up whenever he walked into a room. I saw how she'd fix her hair and stand up straighter when he was around. The same woman who showed up to our coffee dates in yoga pants would wear her best dresses on days when she knew Derek would be in the office. It was torture. But the worst part? She still needed me. She still called me when Derek was busy. She still wanted my shoulder to cry on when Derek didn't text her back fast enough. I was her backup plan. Her emotional tampon. The safe guy she could always count on while she chased the exciting one. One Friday night, she called me crying. Derek had canceled their date to go out with his friends instead. "I don't understand, Matt," she sobbed into the phone. "Why do I always fall for guys who treat me like garbage? Why can't I find someone who actually cares about me?" I was literally staring at my reflection in my bedroom mirror as she said this. There I was, someone who cared about her more than anything. Someone who would never cancel on her, never make her cry, never take her for granted. "Maybe you're looking in the wrong places," I said, my heart pounding. What do you mean? This was it. My moment. I was going to tell her how I felt. Helen, what if the guy you're looking for has been right in front of you this whole time? She was silent. Long, painful silence. Matt, her voice was different now. Careful. You don't mean. I'm in love with you, Helen. I have been since the day you started working here. I know we're friends, but I can't pretend anymore. I think we could be amazing together. More silence. Then, oh, Matt. I'm so sorry. I had no idea you felt that way. You're such a wonderful friend, but I don't see you like that. I'm sorry. The next Monday was hell. Helen barely looked at me. Our easy conversations were replaced by awkward small talk. She stopped asking me to lunch. No more coffee runs together. I had destroyed everything. But it got worse. That Wednesday, I saw Derek's car in the parking lot at 7 a.m. Helen didn't usually get to work until 8:30. My stomach dropped as I realized what was happening. I walked into the office and there they were, Helen fixing Derek's tie, both of them looking guilty and disheveled. They were sleeping together. While I had been pouring my heart out to her on Friday, she was probably already planning to give Derek another chance. I spent the entire day in the bathroom, fighting back tears. 8 months of my life. 8 months of believing I was building something real with her. I was such an idiot. That night, I did something I'm not proud of. I started keeping a list. Every nice thing I had done for Helen. Every time I had been there for her when Derek wasn't. Every dollar I had spent. Every hour I had wasted. Every sacrifice I had made. Coffee money. $347 gas money driving her around. $156. Staying late to help with her projects. 47 hours listening to her complain about Derek. Countless hours being her free therapist. Priceless. I calculated that I had invested over $500 and 200+ hours into this friendship. And what did I have to show for it? Nothing. She owed me. She owed me for being such a good friend. She owed me for all the times I was there when Derek wasn't. She owed me a chance. But instead of giving me what I deserved, she chose him. The guy who barely put in any effort. The guy who made her cry more than he made her smile. I started to hate her. I started to hate all women. They always claimed they wanted a nice guy, but when presented with one, they'd run straight to the jerks and players. They were all liars. They were all the same. Helen wasn't the victim here. I was. For weeks, I wallowed in this anger. I joined online forums where guys like me vented about ungrateful women and the friend zone trap. I read articles about how to manipulate women into liking you. I watched videos about alpha male behavior. I was becoming someone I didn't recognize. Someone bitter and resentful and mean. But then something happened that changed everything. I was having lunch with my older brother Jake, complaining about Helen for probably the 100th time, when he suddenly slammed his fist on the table. Dude, stop. Just stop. What? Do you hear yourself right now? You sound like a crazy person. I sound like someone who got screwed over. No. You sound like someone who created an entire fantasy relationship in his head and then got mad when reality didn't match up. I started to argue, but he held up his hand. Let me ask you something. Did you ever actually ask Helen out? Like, clearly and directly? I told her how I felt. After 8 months of pretending to be her friend. Did you ask her on a date when you first met her? I didn't answer. Did you ever make your intentions clear from the beginning? I was quiet now. Did you ever flirt with her? Touch her? Kiss her? Do anything that would make her see you as a romantic option instead of a buddy? My stomach was sinking. Here's the truth, Matt. You weren't her friend. Friends don't keep secret scorecards. Friends don't expect sex as payment for kindness. You were a con artist running a long con, and you're pissed off that the mark didn't fall for it. His words hit me like a punch to the gut. Helen never owed you anything. She was honest about what she wanted, friendship. You're the one who lied. You pretended to be her friend while secretly expecting her to become your girlfriend. That's not love, dude. That's manipulation. I wanted to argue. I wanted to defend myself. But deep down, I knew he was right. I had never been Helen's friend. I had been an investor, putting in kindness coins and expecting sex and romance to come out like some twisted vending machine. I had been dishonest from day one. I had built our entire relationship on a lie. And when she didn't play along with my fantasy, When she chose someone who was actually honest about his intentions, I called her the villain. But I was the villain in this story. I was the creep who pretended to care about her problems while secretly hoping she'd reward me with her body. I was the manipulator who kept a mental scorecard of everything I did for her. I was the liar who claimed to want her happiness while actually just wanting to possess her. Derek might have been cocky and imperfect, but at least he was honest. At least he made his intentions clear. At least he treated her like a woman he was attracted to instead of a prize he was trying to earn. That conversation with my brother was the beginning of my real journey. I realized I had to completely rebuild how I approach relationships, how I approached women, how I approached myself. The problem was never that I was too nice. The problem was that I wasn't nice at all. I was transactional. I was dishonest. I was manipulative. Real niceness doesn't expect anything in return. Real friendship doesn't keep score. Real love wants the other person to be happy, even if it's not with you. I had to learn how to be genuinely interested in women as people, not as potential girlfriends. I had to learn how to be direct about my intentions instead of sneaking around like some kind of emotional burglar. I had to learn how to handle rejection without taking it personally. Most importantly, I had to learn that attraction isn't something you earn through good behavior. It's something you create through honesty, confidence, and genuine connection. It took months of work, months of uncomfortable self-reflection, months of changing everything I thought I knew about dating and relationships. But it worked. I started having real conversations with women. I started being upfront about my interest instead of hiding behind friendship. I started accepting rejection gracefully instead of turning it into a personal attack. And slowly, gradually, I started having actual success with dating. Not because I learned to be an alpha male, or because I started treating women badly, but because I learned to be honest. Because I learned to be direct. Because I learned to respect both their choices and my own. Helen and Derek got married last year. I saw the announcement on LinkedIn. And you know what? I was genuinely happy for them. Not because I had gotten over her. I had never really been under her in the first place. Our entire relationship had been built on my fantasy, not on reality. I was happy because I finally understood that she deserved someone who wanted her for who she was, not someone who wanted to change her into what he needed. Derek, for all his flaws, had always been honest about what he wanted. He had flirted with her openly. He had asked her out directly. He had treated her like a woman he was attracted to, not like a problem he was trying to solve. That's what I should have done from the beginning. If I had been honest about my intentions from day one of two things would have happened. Either Helen would have been interested, and we could have explored a real relationship, or she would have made it clear she wasn't interested, and I could have moved on with my dignity intact. Instead, I wasted 8 months of both our lives living in a fantasy. The friend zone isn't something women do to men. It's something men do to themselves by being dishonest about their intentions and then getting angry when reality doesn't match their expectations. If any of this sounds familiar, if you've been that guy who puts women on pedestals and then gets angry when they don't worship you back, I want you to know that there's a way out. You don't have to keep making the same mistakes I made. You don't have to keep wondering why nice guys finish last, when the real problem is that you're not being nice at all. You're being manipulative. There's a system that helped me completely transform how I approach women and dating. It's called How I Finally Stopped Being the Friend Zone Guy. And it changed everything for me. Without changing my personality, I learned how to stop losing women that initially liked me because I couldn't play the game. Re-enter the dating scene with confidence at any age. Pass each and every one of women's secret tests. Unlock the Scrambler is the only system that combines eliminating the nice guy behavior ingrained in so many men with the most cutting-edge discoveries of modern psychology. So you can gain the attraction of women, project personal power, and avoid the "let's just be friends" speech for good. The link is in the description below. Don't spend another day living in fantasy land like I did. Your future self will thank you. But before you go, I want to ask you something. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done for a woman who wasn't even interested in you? Share your story in the comments. Trust me, you're not alone. And sometimes, just admitting what we've done wrong is the first step toward doing better. Thanks for watching. And remember, The only person you can change is yourself. But when you do, everything else changes too.